It is finally Friday, and here we go with the final weekend in February. Are you ready? Well, we're about to find out. From Hollywood, it's the world-famous Mojo Elliott here to dazzle you with my brilliance. With another action-packed adventure of the Rat's Ass podcast. Yeah, I wanted to say that with a straight face, but I couldn't. All right, Boston, what the hell was that last night at the Four Nation Face-Off Championship? Did you take a sedative before the game? Did you go to communion, Boston? Where were you? I mean, there was like this spattering of boos during the player introductions for Canada, and you sound like a bunch of cows mooing. Boo, boo. That's what it sounded like. There were no boos during the Canadian national anthem after what they did to us. You took the high road? Boston? Hockey? Really? I was so shocked by that. I'm so used to Boston fans being rabid fans, frothing at the mouth, filth flying from your lips, throwing stuff on the ice. None of that happened. You treated it like a frickin' exhibition game, Boston. Well, the end result was Connor McDavid hits a game-winning shot in the overtime period. United States loses 3-2 to Canada. Now, it was a great game to watch. USA had come back. They were down 1-0. They got up 2-1, tied up 2-2, lost in overtime. So they played their hearts out. So I don't want to take anything away from the American players because they really did bust their ass. And they had their chances to win in overtime. The puck just didn't go in the net. And Connor McDavid sealed the deal. So the 51st state now has the bragging rights, the soon-to-be 51st state, I should say. Thanks, Boston, for showing up. It just kind of sucks to be on the losing end of that. Maybe next time they'll play the game in Philadelphia. Donald Trump just finished his first month in office, and the Democratic dipshittery is at an all-time high, which means Trump and his band of renegades are getting things done. Reports say the border is improving immensely. We're getting all the creeps who came across the border who did dastardly deeds here in the United States out. DOJ is finding waste, fraud, and abuse at every point of the government, and they even floated the idea that they might give us up to a $5,000 DOJ dividend when all things are said and done. Kind of hope they put that money towards the debt, though. We're $37 trillion in debt. And all the reports that I read in Wall Street Journal, Forbes, they all say that the Biden administration had us on the highway to hell. Had Harris won the election, we would have been bankrupt as a country if we didn't change course. So we dodged a bullet. Now, this Democratic dipshittery of trying to pin plane crashes on Trump is just the media highlighting stuff that's going on to help them create this wave of division. That's the only thing these Democrats have. Get you whipped up emotionally. Now, I posted this on X. From the FAA, there is a chart that tells you from 2007, month by month, year after year, all of the mishaps and plane crashes in the United States. Most of it's mishaps. This is where you have, near collisions, little bump and grinding from planes on the runway, not necessarily crashes, but because we've had a few crashes, they've taken this opportunity to really put a spotlight on it. But go to Rat's Ass Podcast on X, scroll down in the replies, and find that chart that I posted. Year to year, month by month, from 2007 till now. You'll see how it all tracks out. And you'll see that in January, February is the lowest that we've had ever since 2007. Go check it out. Unless you're a void of wanting facts. Now, of course, President Trump did say that on day one, prices would start coming down. And boy, are the Democrats running off with this dipshittery. Okay? There's a process here. Any sensible person knows. Trump started the process on day one. Okay? It's going to take time. J.D. Vance pointed this out at a conference this week. He said, it took us 4 years to get here under Biden. It's going to take time to reverse it. And it starts with the energy sector. Getting the Keystone Pipeline fired up. It's going to take time. It isn't like just flipping a switch. It's been idle for 4 years. It's that and a few other things. But it all starts with the energy sector and prices coming down there. When you see gas prices coming down, that's when you know food prices are going to follow. Now, I said this during the campaign. I told you that Reagan took almost 4 years to turn the U.S. economy around after Jimmy Carter. The Biden inflation is 10 times worse than what Jimmy Carter had created for the United States. Now, at the pace that they're working, hopefully we'll see improvement after 2 years. But we're going to have to be lucky to see that. Hopefully we're starting to see it around the midterms. Now, the next thing you have to be on the lookout for, and I'm going to forewarn you about this, is we've got this loudmouth, low IQ U.S. representative from Texas, Jasmine Crockett, who is basically a black AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, she thinks because she has a law degree, she's the smartest person in the room always, but she's as dumb as a bag of mulch. Now, the good news is these front runners for the Democratic Party, even the Republican Party, they always typically fade out by the time we get into an election cycle. And because she always acts like she's the smartest person in the room, I have a good feeling that she's going to hang herself eventually. And she almost did it yesterday when she said, "What good would getting $5,000 do for anyone?" Well, I bet you there are a lot of people in North Carolina right now, Jasmine, who could use $5,000, you bimbo. All right, if I didn't already have Tom Hanks and Hakeem Jeffries as dual Dumbass of the Week award winners already, Jasmine Crockett would win. She would have had her spot on the Rat's Ass Podcast blog under the Dumbass of the Week. But you know what? There's always next week. All right, let's, before we get into this, we're going to play some head trauma here. I'm going to grab a shot of, well, just a sip of Fireball. I'm still drinking the cinnamon whiskey. You bet I am. Also going to take my shirt off because we're already getting into the 70s here in Los Angeles. Hollywood. Okay. There we go. Now I'm shirtless. All right, now we're going to get serious. All right, this round is called I Start It and You Finish It. When it comes to a career, 77% of American men say they would never do this as an occupation. What is it? When it comes to a career, 77% of American men say they would never do this as an occupation. If you think you know what it is, hang on. I'll tell you the answer coming up on the podcast. I'll post it on the Rat's Ass Podcast Facebook page, and you can connect through ratsasspodcast.com. All right, now that I've got my shirt off, are you ready for some loose behavior? Here's what's happening on the Rat's Ass Podcast X feed. The mother of mayhem posted this. What's your worst sexual experience? Oh, perfect topic for a finally Friday last February weekend. Jenny Clevenger said, she posted this as a reply, said, I never had a one-night stand before, and I met this really hot guy at a bar and decided if I was ever going to have one, he'd be the guy. And he turned out to have a thimble for a dick. She said it was like masturbating with my little finger, and I have tiny hands. Oh, Jenny, sorry you had a bad night. All right, Boston Brad said, Boston, I don't want to hear Boston for another week. Anyway, Boston Brad said, I was having sex with a girl once who would swear at me every time I pushed in, and she had these evil eyes that scared the hell out of me, so I came and left running like I had seen a ghost. Well, at least you finished, Brad, so maybe you do have a little Boston in you. Lydia Kay said, I got drunk at a party in college, and while I was finger cuffing these two guys, wow, okay, that's a nice visual. I guess the vodka got the best of me, and I got the Hershey squirts. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, and that, my fiends, is the thing that'll make you go, ew, God. Oh, I've got to recover from that one. See, I have this vivid imagination, and when people use words, I actually see these pictures in my head as I read these things. Oh, God bless. Thanks for that one, Fleabag. All right, let's get into today's celebrity cheese. All right, now it can be told that Travis Kelce spent over $100,000 on Taylor Swift for Valentine's Day. She must be packing something sweet between them thighs, boys and girls. Anyway, his gifts included roses, jewelry, clothes, shoes, but no engagement ring. Yeah, I said shoes for Valentine's Day. No engagement ring, though. So it looks like you're going to have to wait for that 12th album from Taylor Swift for a while. And Travis, man, he's just not tired of being her whoopee-poppin' daddy yet. There's a new Betty White stamp coming from the U.S. Postal Service. Do you remember Betty White? We all love Betty White. She was on the Golden Girls. She died New Year's Eve 2021 at the age of 99, about 17 days before her 100th birthday. All right, now that I've created that picture in your mind, are you excited to lick Betty? All right, Amazon now has control of the Bond franchise, which means the next Bond film will be exclusive to Prime. Now, it could be a movie or it could be a series, but I've got $1,000 and some navel lint right now that I'm getting out. I took my shirt off. It says Jeff Bezos' wife, Lauren Sanchez, at 55, will be the Bond girl. Any takers on my bet? Pop star Rihanna is going to grace the cover of Harper's Bazaar now that her man ASP Rocky is free. You know what? I can't think of anyone more bizarre looking than Rihanna. So I think it's perfect fit. Harper's Bazaar, bizarre looking Rihanna. But who gives a rat's ass? All right, here comes the Rat's Ass Podcast email from our Gmail. You email your questions, comments, thoughts, and observations to me at ratsasspodcast.com at gmail.com. ratsasspodcast at gmail.com for those of you who want the right email address. And I respond, no topic is off the table and you cannot offend me. If finger cuffing and Hershey squirts can't offend me, nothing will. It's not possible. So bring it on. The more outrageous and salacious, the better. I do not read your emails in advance. My producer, Fleabag, forwards me your name, where you're from, and rewrites them so I can respond rapid fire and on the fly. All right, Cameron F. from Dayton, Ohio said, tell me why you have so much confidence in what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing with Doge. Well, Cameron, it's quite simple. I trust the smartest man in the world, the richest man in the world, the guy who builds rocket ships, electric cars, created PayPal, does Starlink. I trust somebody like that. And Donald Trump, a guy who took $1 million and turned it into a real estate empire. I mean, you tell me people like Joe Biden and even people from the Republican Party that are politicians that manage to win elections, that's what they do. What have they ever done of any significance? Have they ever run a business and created a multi-billion-dollar real estate empire? Rockets that land themselves. I think I'm going to trust people like this more than any politician, Republican or Democrat. Okay, there's a reason why. If you believe in God and you believe in signs and things like that, there's a reason why Donald Trump and Elon Musk are working together at this time to try and save the United States of America. And I'll be damn surprised if we're not prosperous in this whole deal. All right, Polly S. from Mesa, Arizona. I worked in Mesa before at a radio station called KCZP. That was before it sucked. She says, I'm a 5'5" blonde, brown eyes with a 34-23-34 shape, and I'm wearing barely anything at all. Oh, Polly's explaining herself to me here, really? Okay, let me get my visual on. She said, I'm a 5'5" blonde, brown eyes with a 34-23-34 shape, and I'm wearing barely anything at all. You run into me at Walmart, what are you going to say to me? Oh, God. Was the dollar store closed? What are you doing here? Was the dollar store closed? That's probably what I would say. David J. from Maple Grove, Minnesota. What's a good pickup line to use on a girl in a bar to get her attention? David. All right, well, you know what? You really don't need a pickup line. This thing about pickup lines. Okay, you make eye contact with the girl. You smile. And you hold her eye contact until she looks away. If she's interested, she'll look back at you. And then she'll find you. That's the way James Bond does it. Max K., Dover, England. I just started seeing an American girl who was visiting from Georgia. Georgia. Yeah. And I really like her. I've never dated an American girl before, but should I be aggressive or patient when it comes to getting her in my bed? Max, just go with the flow. You know, I'll tell you one thing. I think American women, I think they go abroad looking for love, maybe. I know they're looking for sexual action. So I would say just let it go. Let it go with the flow. If she's dating you and you're seeing her, you've seen her more than once, she's interested. Just take your time. Go with the flow. Don't have to worry about being aggressive or being patient. And it'll happen. Because I think girls from America go abroad just because they can't be judged, they can't be seen, nobody knows. They can keep their little secret that I went to London, had a little hanky-spanky with Max. Nobody will ever know. Elsa L. from Kiruna, Sweden. Hope I said that right. Don't want to offend anybody from Kiruna. This is an odd question, but I have to ask. I just had sex for the first time with a guy I've been seeing for about a month. And he has these enormous testicles. Are we talking oranges or grapefruits here? Oh, God. How sensitive are they? And how should I care for them? Testicles are testicles, Elsa. They're sensitive. I don't care if they're oranges or if they're peas, okay? I would say just don't treat them like a boxing bag, okay? Oh, God. Davy Q, Los Angeles, California. Homeboy. All right, I'm not feeling this Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis trade. Talk me off the ledge. Well, I understand Davey because he hasn't played that well yet, but he hadn't played for like 6 weeks. And again, playing basketball when you've been sedentary because he had a calf injury, it's not like you can just flip a switch and start hitting shots from 30 feet. Okay, it's going to take him time to learn his teammates. It's going to take him time to get his sea legs. All right, he sat out last night because it was a back-to-back game. So he sat out the Portland game. But I think you got to give it time. I think the Lakers have bigger problems with the C5 because they don't have Anthony Davis anymore. And by the way, even if they did have Anthony Davis, he's injured. So they'd be in a worse situation than having Luka there. So, I mean, at this point, you got to forget about Anthony Davis. He's gone. He's going to be the future for the Lakers, and he's going to be fine. He scored 35 points a game last year. He's a 30-point scorer. There aren't that many guys like that around, including LeBron, by the way. So once he gets his calf muscle in shape, he gets in game shape because it's different. You don't play for 6 weeks and then you get into a game and it speeds up on you. You have no idea how fast these guys from the NBA are. Luka looks slow, but I guarantee you he's quicker than a lot of guys that are not playing in the NBA right now. All right, if you have any thoughts, observations, comments, or questions, send them to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. All right, the head trauma answer, we're doing I start it, you finish it this round. When it comes to a career, 77% of American men say they would never do this as an occupation. What do you think it is? It's nothing flashy, but it's a plumber. It's a plumber. Nobody wants to plumb anymore. Nobody wants to get their knees deep into the sewage. It's really funny to me that when it comes out of your end, it's poop. Once it splashes in the water of the toilet, it becomes sewage. I don't know how that works. But yeah, nobody wants to be a plumber anymore. How'd you do? Did you get it right or did you miss it? If you missed it, go see a doctor about your head trauma. All right, I got to go let a guy out of my trunk, but I do have one more thing for you. Did you know Michael Jackson nearly purchased the Marvel Company just so he could play Spider-Man in a movie? But he changed his mind when he found out he couldn't really spin a web when he put on the costume. True story. Yeah, true story. You can't make this stuff up, except for the part about how he changed his mind. All right, how about a few shout-outs to members of Rat Nation, our new Rat Nation listener club. Sarah Banks in Alaska, Brian Kershaw in Kansas, Lewis Grimes in Florida, and Myra Geronimo in Connecticut. 4 new members of Rat Nation. And you can sign up because membership will have its rewards once we get to 100 in the fan club. All right? Rats Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. All right? Be sure to check out the ratsasspodcast.com website. Next time you have some free time, you can meet up with us on the socials, listen to the podcast, join Rat Nation, like I said, and read the blog where you can catch my article on the living dead that I guarantee will make you go, We'll do this again on Monday, February 24th. Take care of each other. Have a great weekend, and thanks for dropping by the Rat's Ass Podcast.